Hey, what's up, fight fans? Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC on Fox 27 from the Spectrum Centre in Charlotte, North Carolina, as a rematch of like 5 or 6 years ago. Ronaldo Jacare Souza faces off against old adversary Derek Brunson in a fairly solid Fox card. It's not really one. I don't think it's one of the strongest Fox cards we've ever seen, but all in all, it's fairly decent. Coming off UFC 220. Very happy that the two champions retained their title there. I went 7-4 for the card. Let down by Thomas Almeida with his chin. He was my most confident pick of the whole entire card, if I'm being honest with you. Put down Rob Font with a great performance. Calvin Kattar is a really serious contender, I think, at 145. A little bit gutted that I didn't take him because I was favouring him, but I just thought Burgos would get the decision. Dan Ige wasn't a great pick. I thought he could get takedowns, but he just got outboxed, and Arce kind of lit him up a little bit. But apart from that, fairly decent card. I'm happy with the start to the year. 9-2, 7-4, so it's fairly decent here. We have 11 fights, 12 fights in this card because a fight got added today. So we'll get into that in a second. Just thank you to all the new subscribers. I think I've hit 80 in the first two videos, which is exceptional. If we keep up that rate, we're going to hit the 2,000 goal, which is set for the whole entire year. Let's see if we can blast out the water and just keep on going. The comments last week were phenomenal. There was a lot of silly ones, I thought, saying Stipe couldn't win. Now, I know that's your opinion, but any fighter can win at any time in this sport. We've seen it before, we will see it again. But to say it like a heavyweight champion who's defended his belt had no chance, to me was absolutely, utterly ridiculous. But that's your opinion, and I respect that. But I will have a rebuttal for kind of stuff like that because it's silly comments, in my opinion. I got called silly for picking Miocic when I never ever thought that. I thought he always had an opportunity to win. Came out and did so. So get subscribing. Let's get to 2,000. I want to have a quick shout out to a new guy that's making YouTube videos on here called Andreas Giorgio. He's a guy over here in the UK I know, and I've met him at many events. And he covers the sport over here. I think he used to cover Glory Kickboxing as well. I don't know whether he does that anymore, but he did a great job in that. He made a great video last week with Francis Ngannou, so he's making content. So just go and, if you listen to me, go over there. I'll try and post a link down below. Go and comment, go and subscribe to his channel. Let him know that I sent you over, and just even if it's just a couple of you, it's going to help him get his channel up and running, get him started. So all the best, Andreas. I'm sure I'll speak to you very, very soon, bud. And just thank you for the support, as always, guys. We're going to get into this card now with a fight that got added yesterday afternoon. It is now, but it's Austin Arnett against Corey Sandhagen, and weird fight. Corey fought Friday night past at LFA, knocked out Jose Aguayo in the first round in about a minute and a half, I think it was, off the top of my head. Haven't watched the fight, not got around to finding it either, so I'll need to see if I can find that. But I do know who Corey is. I've known about him for the last year. Comes from Elevation Fight Team. Really solid pro, 7-1 record, and a really decent addition to the UFC roster. It's just a little weird considering he fought 3 days ago and then he's fighting a week later. It's weird. Austin Arnett is his opponent. We've seen him in the Dana White Contender Show, where he faced a fighter from last week, Brandon Davis, where he lost the decision in that one there. I thought he got drawn into a brawl in that fight, and I think if he stays technical, he'll win his fights a lot more. If he gets into a brawl, I think he can get picked off a little bit. He's a guy that's got double the amount of fights at what Corey has, so he's got a lot more experience. He is, I think, the better technical striker. I do think that Corey puts more combinations together better than what Austin does. Austin just needs to fight at range, establish range, and try and pick him from the outside. I think Corey's going to look to get in the inside and throw some combinations and go to the body and look to kind of win the fight through there. I think it's a tough out coming off that fight and last week having to make weight, fighting, and then literally 1 week later making weight again. That's tough on the body. And but Austin Arnett had a fight lined at the end of February, so he was probably in camp at the start of camp and probably wasn't looking like dropping the weight this quickly, but he has to drop weight really, really quick. So it's a weird fight. I'm really obviously not confident in it, but I like what I see from Corey. I like Austin Arnett as a fighter as well. I think he's a really good technical guy. But I'm going to pick Corey Sandhagen. I just think he can get off a little bit more. I think he can get inside the area, get close to where Arnett is, and then just hit him with body shots and just pepper him a little bit. But obviously not a fight I'm very confident in. But I'm going to go with Corey Sandhagen in this one here. Moving on to a fight I am very confident in is Niko Price against George Sullivan. Was really surprised when I found out George Sullivan was still in the UFC roster. He's been out for 2 years. USADA popped him twice. 2 failed tests, I believe it was. Coming off a loss to Alexander Yakovlev, who's not a power hitter, but got knocked out in the first round there. And I just don't think he's an overly great fighter. He's old for like that division. He's like in his mid-30s, probably late 30s now. 36, 37 years old, where Niko Price is in this fight, where I think the UFC are really trying to give this guy a little bit more confidence after that devastating loss to Vicente Luque down in Brazil, where he just lost to the better fighter, in my opinion. Niko Price is a bit of a wild dude. I think he's a very powerful guy. He's all around a pretty good fighter, I think. I think he's pretty well versed. He has submissions. He has some heavy strikes. And I think he can find the chin of George Sullivan here. But he is coming off a loss, so that's something you have to take into consideration. George Sullivan, I think, will have some ring rust, being the age that he is, being out for as long as he has been. I just think that Niko Price, wherever this fight wants to go, he will have an advantage. I think if he puts the pressure on George Sullivan, Sullivan will crumble fairly quickly. I think he's the faster fighter. I think he's got better striking. I think he's got better grappling. I think he can go into the clinch and he can get takedowns from there. I think anyway this fight goes, Niko Price should definitely win this fight. So I'm going to pick Niko Price actually in the first round. I think he's going to use his striking and catch George Sullivan with a shot as he's trying to come in and hit him with a big shot and take him out in that first round. So Niko Price, first round TKO victory there. Moving on to the lightweight division, we had Vinc Pichel against Joaquim Silva. Now this is a fight I'm really looking forward to. There's a few fights in this one I'm looking forward to, but this is probably in the top 2 or 3 probably of the entire card. We'll start with Neto BJJ. It's a guy I actually like a lot. I liked him on the Tough Brazil show. I thought he was a little bit green on that show, but I think he has shown improvements in his fights within the UFC. A devastating striker, really talented striker. I think he hits hard. I think he mixes it up well. I think he's got good footwork, and I think he has some good angles when he uses that good footwork. Sometimes can sit back a little bit, I think, a little bit too much, and fighters can come on to him a little bit, which is something that I think if he was a little bit more aggressive and use a few more of his kind of striking arsenal, that he'd maybe keep guys at bay a little bit. He has been taken down and he has been controlled, and that's something where Vinc Pichel really has a very solid game altogether. We've seen in the early fights, now he was out for 3 years, he had a 3-year stint where he was out, but we've seen him in the Tough show, we've seen him in the fights in the UFC. The guy has got constant, relentless pressure, big takedowns, a strong dude, and a very kind of heavy top game with that. And that's where I expect him to win this fight. The one thing I am worried about is he is coming off a beautiful knockout of Damian Brown. Showed no ring rust whatsoever. As Damian Brown was advancing forward, he moved to his left and uncaught a right straight onto the chin of Damian Brown and put him down with a beautiful shot. It was a beautiful knockout. The one worry that I have with Vinc Pichel is he thinks he's a striker now and he wants to strike with Joaquim Silva. Silva will win that battle, I think, all day long. So he has to use his grappling, and which I think is superior here. I think he can counter with Silva coming forward and get takedowns through that. If you go back and watch the Gleico Franco fight on Tough Brazil, he just shot straight in and went down. It went down straight away, and he controlled him and found a submission from there. I think Vinc Pichel can do that in this fight here. I do think that Silva's get-up game has got a lot better since he's been in the UFC. He got taken down by Nazareno Malagari, got back up, starched Andrew Holbrook in about 15 seconds. Reza Madari took him down 5 times, and he got back up the majority of those times as well. So he has got an advancing get-up game. It's getting better every fight. I just think that Vinc Pichel is going to be too strong. I think he's going to be too domineering on top, and I think that he will ultimately win the fight through his grappling and his wrestling. I think he might be a decent play on DraftKings this week, and the price is going to be decent as well. I actually bet Vinc Pichel. He was an underdog. He opened as an underdog over here in the UK at plus 117. I got him at plus 115. He is now at minus 110. It's pretty much a pick 'em. I thought those lines should have been reversed, and Silva should have been the dog, and Pichel should have been the favourites. But I'm not a bookmaker. I just look at those odds and the leans that I had. I jumped on that price with Vinc Pichel there. So I'm going to go Vinc Pichel via 30-27 decision. Just hope he doesn't turn into a strike and want to strike with this guy, because that could be bad news all over. But I am going to go with Vinc for the win there. Women's flyweight division, Justine Kish against Yeon Kim. Very heavy on Justine Kish here. I think rightly so. I think that Kim's coming off that loss to Lucy Pudilova. I thought she fought alright for a UFC debut, but I don't think Lucy Pudilova's a good fight. I think she had opportunities to win that fight personally, but just really didn't do enough. I think this is going to be a fight where she comes on to Kish here, and Kish is just the more aggressive, stronger. I think she's just a better fighter. I think she's got a little bit more grit to her. Anywhere this fight goes, she scraps. She looks to get back to her feet. She looks to any position that she's in. She looks to try and get to the most advantageous position with it, and majority of the time she does that. She didn't do it against Felice Erik. Erik is a totally different fighter nowadays to like a couple of years ago, and it's actually pretty decent to see. She's going to be fighting Karolina Kowalkiewicz at UFC 223, so that's a solid matchup. As I say, I think solid pretty much defines what Justine Kish is. I think she's a really decent fighter. The line on her opened off fairly decent in the UK over here, and it's skyrocketed, as with you guys in America, majority of you guys in America. I just think she's the better fighter. I think she's got more experience. She's fought the better fighters than what Yeon Kim has. And I think just her pressure, I think her strength is going to be too much here. And Justine Kish will be probably one of my most confident picks of the week. I have some money on her and Niko Price in a parlay, which I got for plus money, which is not now. I got it for plus 110. Now it's minus 115, so I beat the lines there and got a great line. Hopefully the fights can just come through into my way there, and I hit another parlay for the year, which I've started off very well with. Justine Kish, I think she can maybe finish this fight with some ground and pound. More than likely it's going to go to decision. So Justine Kish via decision there. Moving down to the women's strawweight division, we have Randa Markos against Juliana Lima. This matchup intrigues me. It really intrigues me. Initially, I was going to go with Juliana Lima. Then I've kind of switched to Randa Markos. And I think my pick is going to be Randa Markos, but I don't have a lot of confidence in that pick. I think that Juliana Lima is a live dog. If you are looking for an underdog to bet, I don't think Juliana Lima is one of the worst ones to bet on this card. She's strong. I think the big thing with this fight here is who can get the takedowns first. When Juliana Lima gets takedowns in fights, except for the Joanna and Jacare fight, she more than likely wins fights. She has good top position. She has some decent takedowns, some decent trips as well if you have a little look. She just tries to muscle girls, and that ultimately gasses her a little bit and gets her in trouble kind of late on in the fight, which is something even in the Tisha Torres fight. She took Torres down, but Torres managed to finish her in that one as well. She's coming off that loss. Randa Markos is, in my opinion, a 500 fighter. I thought she was a little bit unlucky in the Alexa Grasso fight, but I thought she was very lucky in the Carla Esparza fight. I don't think her striking's overly that great. I don't think she throws good shots. I think she has some good grappling, and this is ultimately where I see this fight coming down. I can see Lima coming out strong, winning the first. I think the first round's huge here. I really do. If Lima can come out and win the first, I think she's got a really good chance to go on and win the fight. If Randa wins, I think she's got an opportunity to win one of the last two as well. So it's a tough fight to pick. I was thinking about going with the dog in Lima, and I don't think it's a bad pick whatsoever, but I've got a funny feeling. You know what? I'm actually going to go Juliana Lima. I'm going to go with Jutai there. I've kind of changed I'm going back to my original pick, what I originally thought it was going to be. I flopped over to kind of Markos, but I think that Lima can start strong. She can get takedowns, and It's a close fight though. I'm going to pick her. She's going to be in my my least confident list down below. But I am going to pick her to win a very, very close 29-28. This could be another one of those controversial decisions in my opinion. So wherever you go, good luck if you're betting it. Good luck. I would stay well away, not unless you're betting the dog, which I don't think it's the worst bet in this card in all honesty. But Lima's going to be the pick there. Going back up to the women's flyweight division, we have Katlyn Chookagian against Mara Romero Borrella. Borrella in her UFC debut come out there, instantly took the fight to the ground against Kalinda Faria and used her serious jiu-jitsu skills, and you've seen that she was clearly better on the ground than what Kalinda was, and got that finish in the first round. If you go back and watch the fights before her UFC debut, I don't think she's overly that great. I do think she has a good ground game, but I struggle to see her taking Chookagian down in this fight. Chookagian she fought at 135, so she's going to be the bigger girl here. She's pretty light on her feet, throws a lot of strikes, throws a lot of feints, and she kind of screams all the time, and that kind of sucks to watch and listen to. But I think she's the better fighter. I think she's a bigger girl. She's got the longer reach. I think she will use that to her advantage. I think if Mara has got a really, really nice takedown from the body lock, if she catches on the body lock, she will get her to the ground. I see Chookagian getting back to her feet though, in that kind of position if she gets taken down. I just think that Katlyn Chookagian is the better overall fighter, and I don't think she's a great fighter altogether, but I think she's got better striking than Borrella. I think she's got pretty decent takedown defense, but it wouldn't surprise me if I see Borrella getting a takedown body lock. She's got a strong body lock. I just think that Chookagian is the better fighter here in all aspects, and I think she will show that. I think she trains with a better team. I think that actually Borrella's at ATT, but Chookagian has a fairly decent team out there in New York with John Danaher. I think she trains with Ricardo Almeida and so on. So she has a really, really solid team. Mark Henry does her striking. So I just think she's the better fighter here, and I don't see the fight really going to the ground. I think she could get a late potential finish in the third round, but I am going to pick a decision victory here for Katlyn Chookagian. Featherweight division, the return of Mirsad Bektic against Godofredo Pepey. Mirsad Bektic, let's get into it. He was completely dominating that fight with Darren Elkins, and then got taken out by Darren Elkins, which was one of the biggest upsets in a long time. A guy that got the absolute piss beat out of him in that fight. But I think just the toughness of Darren Elkins weighed in on that fight and gassed out Mirsad Bektic, and then he ate a head kick and then he went down. There wasn't many people out there picking him. I picked him in Toutmaster, the tournament that I was in. He was like minus 600, I believe he was. A plus 600, I should say. And came through. So somebody out there, I'm sure, would have bet him and made some decent money. I think it's a good matchup for him. I think Pepey, a wild guy, like very unpredictable. You don't know what's going to come from him. He could catch a submission. If you're not careful, if you leave a limb or your neck out there, you have to be very, very careful in this one. And that is something that I think Bektic has to be very careful with here. I've got a funny feeling that Pepey might get something deep, but then Mirsad comes through it. I just can't pick. In this matchup, Mirsad is clearly the better fighter, but I think that Godofredo Pepey is the more dangerous fighter because he can do a lot of crazy shit. He can throw flying knees, which he's caught guys with in the past. He can latch on to like submissions when somebody looks like he's going to take him down, like he did with Andre Fili. So he's a guy you have to kind of show a lot of respect to, but I think that Bektic will get takedowns. I think he will advance positions, and I think his ground and pound will kind of wear on Pepey a little bit. And I like Bektic to finish this fight, maybe late round 2, early round 3. I'm going to go third round TKO. I think he will get takedowns. I think it'll just wear out Pepey, just the strength of what Bektic has, and he will TKO him via some heavy ground and pound in early round number 3. So Mirsad Bektic is going to be the pick there. Moving on to the main fight of the Fox Sports 1 prelims. King Bobby Green against Erik Koch. Disappointed in Erik Koch last time. I thought he looked like a guy with some ring rust, a guy that had been out for a while, had some injuries, but he didn't look half the fighter he has been in the past. Bobby Green, I thought he had a great fight with Lando Venata. I thought he could have easily won that fight. I thought it was very close. I thought he maybe should have won that fight, being honest with you. But he came out there. The thing is with Bobby Green, sometimes he's so unpredictable. Sometimes he comes in, looks great. Other times he comes in and he just doesn't look that good. I mean, he knocked out by Dustin Poirier. He lost a very close split to Rashid Magomedov, which was close, and then he lost to Edson Barboza. So he's losing to really good guys, and he did land a lot of big shots on Lando Venata in that fight. This is a tough one for me to pick. I think that it's all depending on what Bobby Green turns up. If Bobby Green turns up with his head in the game, ready to go, I think he can win this fight. I'm not touching this from a betting perspective. I don't think you really can, because if Erik Koch turns up like the Erik Koch we know, I think he can definitely put it on Bobby Green a little bit here. I think this could be a fun fight if the old Erik Koch shows up. I just don't think he's the same fighter anymore, and I'm not writing him off in this fight. I just think that Bobby Green's the slicker guy. I think he's a little bit faster. I like his defense. I like the way he moves his head out the road. I just like Bobby Green in this one. I was trying to find ways to pick Erik Koch in this one, but after that performance against Clay Guida, I just can't really do it. So I'm going to go Bobby Green via a very close 29-28 decision there. Moving on to the main card. Starting off in the welterweight division. This could be a banger. This could be a really good solid fight. We have Drew Dober against Frank Camacho. Frank Camacho fought 155 last time against Damian Brown. He missed weight, so that's probably the reason why he's moving up to 170 here. The guy throws heat, serious heat, and that fight with Damian Brown was crazy. They came out, they were just exchanging shots. I thought the right guy won. I thought he won the first two, with Damian Brown winning the third round. I saw people kind of crying on Twitter and bitching about, like, he should never have won that fight, and it's in Australia, so they should have given it to the guy. It's like, just because you're from the country doesn't mean you automatically give the guy Damian Brown the fight because he's from that country. It was some weird shit that I seen on Twitter that night. But he's a brawler, no doubt about it. This guy's a brawler. Drew Dober, I think, could engage in the brawl. I think that if he's the more technical striker, he wins this fight. Pick him with shots, pick him with body kicks, shots to the legs. Just don't engage in the brawl, because he could get caught and he could get taken out here. I'm going to pick Drew Dober. Like I say, I think he's the more technical, better striker. He's one of those kind of 500 fighters in the UFC, wins one, loses one. Sometimes he gets stopped early, and he's been in some weird fights. I mean, the Jamie Varner one was weird, and so yeah, it's just a weird. Sometimes he's in some weird fights. I think this could be. I'm hoping this is one of these fights where these guys come out and stand in front of each other and start swinging. I think it could happen, but I think if Drew's has got those smarts up top, he can pick this guy with some shots. Like I said, use those kicks to his advantage. Try and angle off, because Frank Camacho's head really doesn't move off the centre line. So if he was to use angles and pop from the side, I think that he could pick off Frank Camacho a little bit and not engage in the brawl and not get caught with the shots that Frank Camacho can throw. Can I see Frank Camacho winning a couple of rounds? Most definitely. So it's not really an overly confident pick, but I am going to pick Drew Dober. If it's the striking battle and it's predominantly in the feet and not a brawl, Drew Dober should win the fight. But I think Frank Camacho's live as well, so he's the underdog in this one. I think he is live in the fight, but I like Drew Dober just a little bit more. Let me see. Sorry guys, just putting on something to record. Moving on, lightweight division. Jordan Rinaldi against Gregor Gillespie. Really excited to see Gregor Gillespie back. He cashed me my biggest bet of 2017. He was plus 1400 to win via submission. against Jason Gonzalez, and he pulled through. And I won a massive bet on that guy. So really looking forward to seeing what he's got here. The guy's got really good striking. We saw that in the Andrew Holbrook fight. Big, heavy hands. We saw it in the Gonzalez fight as well. He peppered him with some big strikes. He's got a lot of work to do in his defence. That's the one aspect where I see him going forward once he faces better strikers. He could get knocked out. I think his chin's in the air. His hands drop low. And I think one of the reasons that is because he's not really scared of the takedowns, because he's a really dominant wrestler, but he's shown that he's just an all-around good striker, good fighter, with his grappling, with his jiu-jitsu, with his striking. But I think he has got a lot of things to work on regarding his defence and so on. I don't think it's going to overly matter in this fight. Rinaldi's not really known as a power hitter. Solid veteran coming off a really beautiful Von Flue choke against Alvaro Herrera last time out. I think if it goes to the ground, it could be very close. I think Rinaldi has some skills down there, but I think Gillespie, wherever this fight goes, Gillespie should have an advantage in my opinion. I think he needs to come out here, stop this guy. These are the type of fights that if you want to build a reputation as being an up-and-coming fighter and one to look out for, you need to stop these fights. He stopped Jason Gonzalez, he stopped Andrew Holbrook. I don't see Jordan Rinaldi being overly that much better than those two guys. He is better, but I don't think by too much. And I like Gregor Gillespie to find the chin of Jordan Rinaldi at some point in this. I think I see him getting a couple of takedowns, testing out on the ground. I think he will feel that Rinaldi's decent down there. He maybe can't finish him. Maybe with some heavy ground and pound he could. But I think on the feet, if these two exchange a little bit, I think that Gregor Gillespie is the better striker. But I think the line's really, really off. Well, it's probably right, but it's really heavy in his favour. So one bet I was looking at was Gregor Gillespie inside the distance. I think it was plus 160 over here in the UK. But I'm going to just give it a pass altogether. So Gregor Gillespie is going to be the pick. I'm going to pick him via second round TKO victory there. Moving on to the co-main event in the featherweight division with Dennis the Menace Bermudez against Andre Touchy Fili. And this is a really interesting matchup because Dennis Bermudez has clear frailties in his chin. He has really good aggressive wrestling. He takes down a majority of his opponents. He took down Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins took him down, of course, and he kind of lost a hometown decision in that one there. He's coming off a 2-fight skid as well. Lost to Elkins, lost to the Korean Zombie. So he needs to start off 2018 right, and I think he's got a tough matchup here. The thing is with Andre Fili, I'm a fan of Andre's, but the guy just cannot get any momentum in his favour whatsoever. He's been in, I think it's his 10th UFC fight, and literally his record is win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So he won his last fight, so predominantly says that he's going to lose this fight. I'm not overly sure. I think that actually Andre Fili's got a little bit of underrated kind of wrestling game, takedown game. He's taken down guys in the past. I mean, he took down Artem Lobov's not a hard guy to take down. He took down Rodriguez, I believe. He took down Max Holloway. I think he even took down Hakran Diaz in that win. So he has fairly decent grappling. I think his defensive grappling is okay. I think he can do enough to keep this in the feet here. I do see Bermudez getting some takedowns there. I don't think he keeps Fili there, though. That's the thing. I think on the feet, I think Fili is the better striker. I think he's definitely the longer fighter, so he can fight at distance and pick his shots better. So yeah, I'm just a little bit unsure in this fight, I'll be honest with you. I think I'm going to pick Andre Fili. I see him fighting at distance, I see him stopping takedowns, and I'm hoping that he can try and build some momentum in this one. I'm a little bit back and forth in this one. I'm going to pick the dog. It's kind of one of these fights, I think it's a dog or pass one for me, and I'm going to pick Andre Fili just to win a very close decision. But I think a lot of people will probably side with Dennis Bermudez, if I'm being honest with you. I think they will see him taking down this fight to the ground and kind of securing the fight through his grappling. But I'm just not that confident in picking him here, so I'm going to go with the dog. I'm going to go with Andre Fili via a decision win here. So that's my pick in the co-main event. Moving on to the main event, the rematch, Ronaldo Jacare Souza against Derek Brunson. Hometown guy really here, Derek Brunson. He's fighting in his home state. We'll go back to the original rematch. These guys, the original first fight I should say, these guys fought way back, I think it was August 2013, Strikeforce, and this knockout was brutal. And it came from Jacare Souza, who at that time was not known as a striker. His grappling's legendary. We all know about that. And anybody that's a fan of the sport knows who Ronaldo Jacare Souza is and what his grappling entails. I do think since the Gregor Mousasi fight, though, I have seen deterioration in his game. I think his speed's gone. I think his cardio and his durability's gone a little bit. But he still is an extremely dangerous fighter, and he has the mental edge, I think, over Derek Brunson here. What I've noticed with Derek Brunson is, when this guy fights kind of calmly, like he's done his last two fights against Uriah Hall, maybe? I don't know. Uriah Hall, Dan Kelly, and Leo Machida. That's who it is. Leo Machida. I don't know why I was thinking that. He's pawed away. He's been very patient, fighting at range, just kind of pawing the jab out, and then that initial burst of coming forward and throwing heavy strikes, really, his hands are really quick. Once he kind of steps in and then throws, his overhand right is a massive, massive weapon and could put down Ronaldo Jacare Souza here. I think Souza, like I said, I don't think his reactions are there. I don't think his speed's there as much. But I do think he has the edge over Brunson here. I'm a little bit concerned about the durability of Souza kind of going into the late rounds. He couldn't take down Rob Whittaker. And to be fair, Whittaker fought a perfect game plan there and really tired him out, and just his superior boxing really got him there. This is where this fight could kind of go in Brunson's favour. I was initially going to bet Derek Brunson, but then I watched the fights over again, and I just felt I had to side with Ronaldo Souza. I have heard that Derek Brunson has an illness, or he had an illness the last 4 or 5 days, like a flu symptoms, and he hasn't been in the gym. He's been at home, kind of getting ready for the fight through this. So maybe that hinders him. I honestly don't really believe all that much into that. I just think it's a little bit of baloney. So I'm going to pick Jacare Souza. I think he gets the takedown. I think he finds a submission. But I can also see a scenario where Derek Brunson maybe stops the takedown, and once he stops a couple of those, I think that Souza could start to wonder, I'm in trouble here. And Brunson does have that fast reaction, big shots and big power alongside it as well. So I'm going to pick Ronaldo Jacare Souza. I'm not overly confident, though. I'm going to pick him via submission in round number 2. But if you're picking Derek Brunson and betting Derek Brunson, I wish you all the very best. So that's my picks for UFC on Fox 27. We've got UFC Berlin in Brazil next week, which I think is a great card. Some really good fights in this. I'm looking forward to seeing Poliana Viana, which is one of those fights I'm looking forward to seeing. But until then, enjoy the fight card this weekend, and I will see you probably next Monday. So enjoy the card, all the best, and I will see you all soon.